Welcome back to the Four League Report. I'm Dan DiPietro. Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Really tough physical series so far. The Spurs obviously came in the more desperate team. This was a must-win game for them to keep their season alive. You don't go down 0-3 in any series and expect to win. They came out more desperate. Wemby and Castle took over the game in the beginning. In the first quarter, they were great. Wemby, I think the strategy tonight paid off. Instead of playing the 25 to 30 foot game from the basket, they had Wemby down low where a 7'4" big man should be living. Took his looks from the outside when he got them in rhythm. Castle was tremendous, going to the basket, shooting from the perimeter. San Antonio played swarming defense tonight. Got to give them credit. Very physical brand of basketball. I mean, they're beating up on Brunson. They're beating up on the Knicks. I don't think Towns asserted himself the way that he did the first two games. They got nothing out of Bridges, who got in foul trouble early, and that just kind of took him out of the game from that point. If it hadn't been for Josh Hart and OG Anunoby, the Knicks wouldn't have even been in the game. But they got huge shots from those two guys all night. Great defense and rebounding from those two guys all night, and that's what we've come to expect from Josh Hart. Really not a whole lot from the Knicks bench, whether it be Mitchell Robinson or Landry Shamet or Deuce McBride. Everybody was quiet tonight. I feel like the Spurs made the right adjustments coming into this game defensively. They're really running a lot of pressure at Brunson in particular, but pretty much anybody who has the ball near the half-court line. I mean, they're really putting a lot of pressure, trying to trap, running full court pressure, running it well. And let's be honest, the Knicks just turned the ball over way too much tonight. You can't turn the ball over the way that the Knicks did and expect to win. Brunson had a decent amount of points, as he usually does, but overall he had a really sloppy game. He turned the ball over a lot. He had some bad fouls. Took some bad shots. And just was not his best game. Wasn't his best performance. And then, I did feel like, it was funny. I was talking with my dad before, and he was mentioning all the conspiracy theorists and how the refs have been blowing the whistle for San Antonio and not for the Knicks. And I'm kind of with him. I don't like to go down the road of, blaming the refs. But, man, you got to admit, I mean, in the second half, the Spurs are taking 22, 24, whatever it is, free throw attempts. And the Knicks had, 6? And you get a sense that Wemby is able to get away with a little bit more, I guess, physically because of his size. There was a blatant one in this game where he essentially shoved Brunson down to the court, with a forearm shiver, and it didn't get called. I mean, there's some blatant stuff going on that's not getting called. I mean, you don't have to be a tinfoil hat wearer to to acknowledge that. I think the Knicks are going to have to make an adjustment to play a more physical brand of basketball. And that's saying a lot because, they are a physical team. They're a team that is known for defense and, being a gritty team, grinding it out in half court. But the Knicks are way more effective when they're getting turnovers. They're able to run and transition, get easy baskets. Once that stuff starts to go for them, and it really didn't go that way for them tonight, that's how they rattle off these runs where they're, 14 to nothing run, 16 to 2 run, 20 to 4 run. That's how they're able to rattle these off. And that just never came together for them tonight. They were never able to really, outside of the way that they closed the first half of the game, they were really never in control of the game. San Antonio was in control. They were the more dominant team defensively. They were the one making, not only making their shots, but getting better looks at the basket than the Knicks did. Just an all-around tough game. And, man, going into this game, all the pressure was on the Spurs. You have to win Game 3 after you give up the first 2 games at home. As we said on the last pod, no team has ever come back and won an NBA Finals losing the first 2 games at home. So the Spurs are up against history, but they're trying to become the first to do this, and they're capable of doing it. And all the pressure is now on the Knicks to keep home court in their favor. If they lose Game 4 and give home court right back up to San Antonio, man, you're now really, really, really thinking about this series differently. Because all the momentum swings right back over to them. It now becomes a 3-game series if they somehow manage to squander Game 4 against San Antonio. It becomes a 3-game series with 2 games played in San Antonio. So you don't like calling anything a must-win when you're up 2-1 in a series, but man, this feels like a must-win, this next one for the Knicks. It really does. If this series is tied after Game 4, I just don't know how this isn't going 7 games. There were a lot of people saying that they expected a sweep after the Knicks took the first 2. That was fair when you were looking at, a 13-game winning streak and the way that they were winning the games, and then the way that they won Game 2, despite San Antonio getting all the calls and them not really getting many at all. So this had the feeling of a series that was going to end in either 4 or 6 games after Game 2. Now, you feel like it's either going to be 6 or 7 games. I feel like it'll be 6 games if the Knicks win Game 4. The Spurs will probably find a way to be that desperate team again the way that they were tonight and figure out a way to win Game 5 at home. And then it'll go back to New York, and it'll be desperation time for the Knicks to win it to close out the series and not have to go back to San Antonio for an all or nothing Game 7. And man, that's a tough deal. You don't want to be in that position. You want to win Game 4 with the chance to either close it out in San Antonio, and if you're not able to do that, okay, you come back home to New York and you play like a team desperate to win a championship, because they're going to need that desperation for game 4, man. They're just going to need it. You can't give up that game. You cannot give up game 4 if you're the Knicks. It would be devastating, really, to give that game up. You cannot do it. So this is a town, New York City's a town that hadn't seen a championship in a long time. It had been, not since the Giants in 2011, 2012 season, the Yankees 2009. It's been a little while. And this town is ready to party again. I should say that town, because I'm not in this town anymore. But that town is ready to party again. And we can table those talks for another couple of nights here. Wednesday night, game 4. This is as big as it gets, man. You're either gonna start talking about the party that's gonna take place after that game, or you're gonna start grinding teeth going into game 5, because, man, if it's a game 5 in San Antonio with the series tied, that's not what we're looking for if you're a Knicks fan, but that's certainly what San Antonio is looking for. Just get this series right back in your favor with home court advantage. And nobody cares about the talk around the referees at the end of the day. It's about winning these games. And whatever's going on, you have to be able to match it. You have to be able to match the physicality. Let's be honest. I mean, this has been pretty much... This is the closest thing to prison rules basketball. This is old school 90s basketball where guys are killing each other on every other possession. Every other possession, somebody's getting killed. And you need to figure out a way to match that intensity, match the physicality, or you're going to end up going home. And, I just get the feeling now it's like whoever is the more intense, physical, desperate team in game 4 is probably going to win this series. And, we'll see. We'll see, man. I mean, it's been a great one. It's been an entertaining one so far. And you just hope that everybody stays healthy on both teams all the way through, because we don't want any excuses either way. Now, hockey, game 4 tomorrow night between Vegas and Carolina. The second one in Vegas. This, as I said before, this series just has all the feel of a series that's going to go 7 games, no matter what. No matter what team jumps out to a lead, what team comes back in the second or third period, whether it's overtime, no matter who wins in overtime. It almost seems like it doesn't matter what kind of swings we're looking at in this upcoming game. It's all going to be about the war of attrition and who is left standing and who is healthier and who is more wind going into games 6 and 7. It feels like that's going to be the deciding factor in this game, in this series, I should say. So we will get that one. We will get an episode out on Thursday morning to review the result of that game, and it will be a hockey episode, and then we will preview Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Drop us a line. 4leaguereport@gmail.com. We would love to hear your thoughts, and I will read them here on the air, whether it be about the NBA Finals, whether it be about the NHL Stanley Cup Final, or if you're wanting to talk about baseball. I know we haven't done much of that with these championship series going on. We will obviously be getting into the meat and potatoes of the baseball season once this wraps up on both sides. And then not too far away from previewing the NFL season and training camps. It's crazy to think that, we're in June already, and we're a little less than 2 months away from the open of training camp. It'll be here before you know it. All right. With that said, I'm Dan DiPietro. This is the 4 League Report. We'll see you soon.